Okay, so let's begin with my guests in the studio today. The Big Brother reality show. Have you been watching? You see, I've heard so many different comments about the show, ever since it started. Some is like there are two different sides of the fence. Actually, three. On one hand, you have people who are like, yes, we have teams and we have our favorites and we have ships and we just want the show to keep going and never end. They even have social groups where they kind of like try to get people to vote and everything. So they're 100% engrossed in the show. And then you have the extreme end of that, people who are just like, listen, 2023 is in a couple of months, okay? We cannot be bothered for Big Brother. So whatever you guys want to do, just go right ahead. And then you have the middle, people who just, whatever goes, goes, okay? You bring Big Brother, we take it. You bring the politics, we take it. We're just going to, live and let live. Well, regardless of whatever side you're on today, I want you to, let's just get into the Big Brother fiasco for about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. Let's talk about this. Now, it has kicked off in full swing. This happened 2 weeks ago. It's been 2 weeks, but there's been so much drama. They had over 20 different housemates competing for the grand prize, which of course goes to one lucky housemate. But of course, with lots of money to be won, there's also going to be some losses. Evictions have started. And today on the show, I am joined by the first set of evictees, who I would say are also winners, in my books. Joining me on the show right now today, I've got the evicted Big Brother Season 7 housemates, Christy and Cyph. Hi guys, you're welcome to the Arise 360. You're welcome to my little space. I call this my house, so I want you to be very comfortable. Thanks for joining me on the show today. I'm going to begin with Christy. Can I call you, what do people call you? What's a shorter name? Was it Chris? Was it Christy? What would you say is the one nickname that almost everybody addresses you by?
Christy O.
Christy O. Okay, let's keep it at that.
Christy O.
What?
Can you hear me?
Of course I can.
Christy O.
Everybody calls you Christy O. I love it. So tell me about your time in the Big Brother Naija house. You came in, I remember the Sunday that you walked up on that stage. You were so excited. You had your dreams, your goals, things you wanted to put out there. And I would like to believe that you brought all of that energy into the house. So the brief time you did spend in there, what was that like for you?
The first week wasn't the greatest for me, but from the second week, it became really better and I was having a lot of fun in the house. Unfortunately, that was cut short, but yes. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say 6. I enjoyed myself 6 out of 10 in Big Brother's house.
Okay, so Cyph, what about you? Tell me about your experience in the Big Brother Naija house, just as briefly as Christy O just did. What was that experience like for you, albeit short?
Okay, so the experience was actually great. I know that I was thrown off balance with the separate levels, right? Everybody has this mindset of what the Big Brother is, especially based on the previous years. So this one came as a shocker to me, right? But then again, I know that I had to recalculate myself and then tell myself that, okay, at least I am going against a different level, right? All I have to do is make sure that my level wins, right? Exactly. So, but then again, the experience was awesome. I was intrigued, right? It had a lot of suspense and it was amazing. It was actually amazing.
Now, Cyph, I'm so happy that you brought up the different levels to the game, the different sides or houses, to the game, which I think for this particular season of Big Brother, Season 7, it's come as a lot. It's been very confusing for a lot of people, trying to understand what exactly it is like being inside the house, knowing that there are two separate divides. So could you just briefly explain that part so people can really understand what exactly is going on in that space? How often do you get to mingle? Do you even get to mingle at all? How long is it for? Were you even aware of this prior to when you got into the house?
Okay, so definitely I wasn't aware, right? I won't be thrown off guard if I was aware, exactly. But the truth is that it had its ups and downs, right? Now, if I was to talk about the ups, it would be that at least now that your level 2 housemates, you have to be coordinated and organized and be as a family so that you can go against the level 1 housemate and vice versa. And you're not stressed about someone stabbing you in the back to nominate you for eviction from your own level, because if you win the HOH in your level, everybody is staying, right? So you're only just scared about the other level winning the HOH or any other tax, to be precise. Now that also gives ginger, right? That also gives like it makes you positive and wants to make you attack the situation, right? So you go for any tax that is there, all hands on deck. Now the bad side to it was the fact that the energies from, okay, let me use level 2 for instance. It was compacted, it was kind of small, right? So the energy, if there's bad energy, it goes everywhere. If there's good energy, it goes everywhere. And then sometimes the bad energy comes in between tax, and then it's like you want to spoil the whole situation before you even start. Exactly. So all I know is that it shocked everybody in the house. I'm definitely sure it shocked everybody in the house, right? Because the perception of how Big Brother would run wasn't what they saw, but we had to adjust to it and move on. And actually the adjustment was actually real quick. So that is what I had actually appreciate about the housemate this season.
Okay, thank you so much for that, expansive explanation as to what exactly goes on between the two levels. Christy, let me bring you back into this conversation. So in terms of, I mean, it was such a short time in the house. Yeah, but is it too soon to say that you have specific people that you would miss more than others, or, even a number of them? It doesn't have to just be one person.
I mean, it's a house with different people, with different personalities and stuff. I mean, even outside the real world, you cannot be friends with everybody. And you would like some people more than other people because you just feel like you understand their personality more and you can fit them in your world. So in the Big Brother house, I was particularly close to Fina, from Cyph, and Amaka. So, and Groovy as well, because Groovy was like my party friend, even Kes. So I'll miss those people definitely.
All right,
coming out of the house, I miss them, because I know.
No, please go right ahead.
Because I know, like, if I was in the house, like, there are conversations that we would have had. So I mean, coming out of the house, I definitely miss them. Yeah.
So speaking about some of those conversations, would that fight, I'm sure you have or may not have opinions about that, the fight between Groovy and Beauty, seeing as you both were so close, do you think that's something he would have confided in you differently on, and you both would have had an expansive conversation about that? Seeing your friend, someone you say you care about, in that situation, how did that make you feel?
I mean, it was strange that there was so much fight happening because of one girl. Because, oh, you danced with this person, you didn't dance with that person. And I understand I was coming from like an emotional point and alcohol as well. But I think both of them overreacted and, things escalated, and, it's just so sad that what happened to Beauty happened to her. But I mean, it was bound to happen because from the first week, something like that already happened. So it was obvious that there was going to be like another flow of emotions. I mean, once there's alcohol in the system, you're vulnerable, you can just lose guard. And that's what happened. You
can just lose guard. So are you worried for Groovy's stay in the house now? Do you think maybe he might, are you worried? Do you think do you think Beauty being disqualified from the show, for instance, would have a significant impact on Groovy, enough to affect his stay and possibly win for the Big Brother Naija Season 7 show?
I think it's a two-way street. It could be an advantage and it could also be a disadvantage. It could be an advantage in the sense that people might be like, oh, I mean, Beauty did a lot, she overreacted, this and that. So because of this, and because Groovy's like a cool boy, let's vote for him. And people could also say that, oh, because of you, Beauty is out of the house, let's kick you out as well. So it's a two-way street. People could either go the right way or the wrong way. So I don't know. It's like sitting on the fence on this one. I don't know if it's good for him or if it's bad for him.
I can imagine. So let me bring Cyph into the conversation now. Tell me about people, again, that you feel you built a special bond with within the time that you spent in the house. Who would those people be?
Okay, so I had a special bond with Khaled. I basically see Khaled as myself, but more like a slimmer, muscular version of myself. Yeah. So well, I connected with Khaled and like on a lot of levels, not just maybe intellect or something like that. We both cruise, fun, sarcasm, like a whole lot of things. Yeah. Then I connected with Fina. I love the fact that she's as real as they come. Right? She says it as she sees it. And, you know, she is not ashamed to tell you that, look, from my head to toe, if you calculate everything, it's 10,000 naira. Hoo-ha, come and kill me, right? Now, at the same time, I connected with Brian. Brian has gone through a lot, right? He has seen things, and yet he's still optimistic, he's still positive, and he has a good sense of humor, right? He's that comic relief you need now and then when things get tense. And he's also smart, as you may have it, he's actually smart. And yeah, as weird as it may sound, farm service smile is like it's like communicable, like it can spread to everybody. So you can be sad and he will just come and goof in front of you and then you just start smiling. Exactly. So definitely I'll miss farm service. Yeah.
Okay, so back to you, Christy and Cyph. I want you both to think about this next question. There is, compared to other seasons of Big Brother, lots of people would say that this season there is so much sexual energy on the show, within the show as well. So for either of you, was it a bit uncomfortable? Did you ever feel, I mean, some housemates have even spoken about how, listen, this is how this situation made me feel. It was a little awkward, you know, it made me feel some type of way. For both of you, did you ever find that a little odd, or was it like, nah, I'm out to that's like, let's just, you know, move right on? I'll start with you, Christy. Because you will agree that there was a lot of those. So, and especially now that you're out of the house, you can even see the parts that you were even missing out on before. Was that awkward for you or completely normal?
I mean, before going into the house, I was one of those people that would be like, is this all what the show is all about? But I mean, like going into the house, I actually noticed that, I mean, the house itself has an effect on you because it's very, very cold, right? And then, you know, before you know it, you're like talking to this particular guy, you want him to just, you know, cuddle up with you and all of that. And I mean, one thing will lead to the other. So it's the house, okay? And it's very small. Our space in particular was very small, so you cannot literally walk out. You would see the person, you have to face your demon and solve the problem. So I think it was the house situation, really. And I mean, you see the same person every day, so you just start catching feelings.
Interesting. It's the house. Okay, Cyph, would you agree? Is it the house? Is the house just, you know, is the house the problem? Is that the reason why there's so much sexual energy on the show this season?
Okay, first of all, I would say enclosed spaces, small spaces, have a way to mess with people's emotions and feelings. Human beings naturally, we are meant to connect, right? It's either we're connecting on a mental level or an emotional level, right? And there's no how that you can stay in a building for 2 months without leaving that area with both opposite sex, and then there would be feelings at some point, you get. So definitely there's an enclosed space. Cold can be another factor too, right? I mean, some people tend to react certain different ways to cold at the same time. But then, personally, I would say that even as we are watching the Big Brother right now, there's some people there that will stay from now to the end of the 2 months and won't have any sexual whatever with anybody, right? At the same time, there are people that will do, you get. So it's a thing of, are you okay with it? Are you not okay with it? And you move on, right? And I know for myself that I love to express myself however I can, right? That suits the situation, though I keep a boundary towards everything. Plus the fact that, I mean, we are youths. We are youths, right? So, I mean, it can come and go. Yeah, so I won't say it's, I will just blame it on the enclosed space.
Yeah, Big Brother definitely. So, I mean, I guess for people who enjoy that part of the show, Big Brother might want to look into that, making the spaces more enclosed. So before I let you both go, let's talk about no pun intended, your future. Now let's talk about that. I'm gonna stick with you, Cyph. So tell me, prior to the house, what you were doing, and now that you're out of the house, what's your future looking like?
Okay, so before the house, right, I know I was into tech. I was a tech designer, a user experience designer. And at the same time, I was a creative designer, right? And a little bit of brand strategist and marketing strategist, yeah. But then, basically, I'm working under someone, right? So all I have to do is give my ideas, and if it's good to go, it's good to go. If it's not good to go, as a team player, I have to go with what works and give the best to the clients or the business or the brand. But now I have gotten the platform to make myself better. I was in the house for 2 weeks, and yet I found like some talents I didn't even know I had. Right, I could see that I could stand my ground when presenting about certain things. Right, especially the game, the second wager, even though that we lost, level 2 lost, but I could see the way I explained the game and how it works with that confidence in front of everybody, even though there was tension. I knew that, okay, wow, I could actually handle hosting with enough practice and whatnot. And then, but that aside, I would love to manage or own a creative agency, right? I want to help solve business problems for brands, right? At the same time, I would love to start a fashion line. I want to call it a fashion community because it's more like you are expressing yourself with what you wear and looking good at it. Exactly. That's
you have this well thought out. And yeah. I mean, before we gotta hear from Christy. We don't have so. I'm so sorry to cut you short, but I feel like while you were inside the house,
it's all right.
You have clearly thought this out. Christy, I want to hear from you as well because I think it's also important to know what your plans are. You're out of the house. You have this huge fan base now. Definitely, it's safe to say that things could be different. So, what do you intend to do with what you have?
Okay, so before going into the house, I had I still have it, a cosmetic line called Christy Cosmetics, pretty much makeup products. Now I have a bigger platform. I'll definitely make good use of it, push my brand out there. I was also modeling. Modeling is always going to be a thing for me. Then in the house, I had a show called Christy Talk Show. I think coming out now, I really want to push that. I think I discovered that I'm really good at presenting, so I want to do that. And my tech thing, entertainment, pretty much. Everything life throws at me, the good stuff though, and everything to secure the bag. I'm open for that.
Securing the bag is very, very, very essential. Cyph, Christy, this has been an interesting and enlightening conversation. Thanks a lot for joining me on Arise 360. And I do wish you both the best of luck in your individual endeavors. I do hope it all turns out great. All right.